Thank you for joining me. I'm going to be reading the Earth class notes written by the 12th Apostle on Tears of Gold. Of the so-called major prophets of the Old Testament law, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, and Daniel, Jeremiah was considered to be and called the weeping prophet, primarily because he was called to be a prophet because of how his genetics came together at his conception. Jeremiah 1:5. But he didn't think that the Jews would listen to him due to his young age of about 21, which they didn't, and eventually turned against him so much for his continual warnings against their backslidden condition that they threw him in a deep cistern that they had been using to throw sewage into, that left him just enough room to stand on the bottom with his face tilted back barely above the wet sewage level to breathe. Not a very good condition for a prophet of God to be in. To make it worse, some of the Jews would walk by and throw rocks down at his face, blackening both of his eyes and breaking his front teeth, laughing at him, saying, "Prophesy, who did this to you?" A sympathetic Israelite later was able to get him out and free him. Jeremiah wrote about some of this in Lamentations 3:16. "He hath also broken my teeth with gravel stones. He hath covered me with ashes." Also in 4:1. How is the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street. Tears of gold fell from his sanctuary brain and face to the street where Jeremiah walked. Remember, the Old Testament has much more symbolism than the New Testament, and the dear souls who preach that they take all of the Bible literally, and so should you, do much harm and injustice to the truth in the Bible record that requires much true, disciplined study in the correct context, purpose, and times it was written. Some commentaries can be helpful in some areas, but I have yet to read one that had it all written right, and I have read many. It's good to see and to listen to other preachers and teachers until they get so far away from the truth of the subject that it becomes sad, and may even cause you to shed a few tears of gold. I don't know how much news you watch on television, but I will make myself sometime watch the Fox News Network, and some of the things you see that people are protesting about America's new Republican president, Donald Trump, is unbelievable that people can be that foolish. Walking in high emotional masses that they call marching with signs and shouting absurd, crazy things, as if that proves their evil points, of which I will use one illustration to prove how crazy that confusion really is. I saw several signs saying that all Americans were refugees, and even saw and heard Jesse Jackson interviewed where he said that Jesus was a refugee. The newsman didn't know how to refute that from the Reverend Jackson, and acted as if he was honoring Jesse. I knew what Jesse meant, but he didn't know enough true theology to understand his statement proved itself to be wrong. If that were true, as Jesse was taught, that Jesus was God, who came to earth, was born of the Virgin Mary to die for the sins of all who believe in him, and that he created all things and everyone, and he planned it to be this way and is controlling all things. That is all so wrong that it cancels itself and proves itself to be wrong to any responsible human soul with unlimited abilities on altered earth. Sad to see so much evil deception on altered earth today, especially within the democratic or democratic agendas. Now at the end of this evil world age where so much truth is freely available To everyone in simple, easy to understand, know, and sovereignly believe and share with others through words, terms, and phrases worthy of communicating the greatest truth there is about the person and plan of our one and only great God of love. In these special earth classes, through the greatest power there is of love. Hallelujah. Thank you so much for giving me something so priceless, your time. And until next time.